And before we start, though, I'd like to invite anybody to pray with me as we begin the meeting, and then I'll introduce Jerry and we'll get started. Would bow your heads. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the beautiful weather you've given us and for the much needed rain that we got so much earlier. We just pray, Lord, for more rain. We pray, Lord, that you would bring that in abundance to us, Lord, that we need to be able to solve the situation that we're in. We ask that you be with us tonight in this meeting. Lord, just guide and direct us in our actions and our words. Lord, that you would just help us to have a good meeting, a successful meeting, one that solves some issues that we have in front of us. We ask this in your precious name. Amen. Amen. And you'll notice, I did bring an umbrella. That's an omen, you know. Probably won't rain now, but just in case, I don't want to mess my hair up. Didn't you get that? So
I forgot about that.
As we go on tonight, what we're going to be discussing is going to be the water issues that we've encountered over the last week. I know a lot of people have questions. There's been a lot of different theories out there, a lot of different rumors out there, some good, some bad, that we kind of want to just bring to y'all so you understand exactly what we're up against, why we got in the situation, and how we're going to rectify that going forward. I will be the first to admit our communication's horrible. We did the best we could with what we had, and I do promise you this, it will get better. We will do better, all right? But tonight, as we go through this program, I would ask that you just hold your questions until the end. A lot of it may be answered as we go through this. Jerry's put a lot of work, time, and effort into this week, getting the information that we needed so that everybody would be able to be informed. But as we go through this, just if you could just hold your questions to the end, and we'll answer everything we can as we go. So without further ado, Jerry is our interim city manager. He's going to be bringing you this program, and hopefully this will answer your questions.
Again, thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. We want to get some more information out to kind of update you. I know we live in a day and time where news is readily available at a fingertip. Everybody's got a phone, and at a fingertip, news is available. Unfortunately, sometimes the news doesn't work. So, and I will explain that in just a minute. All right, so we have water issues. So what happened? First thing that happened this year was a drought. And everybody said, oh, it's rained. We don't have a drought. We are in a drought. As a matter of fact, for the first 4.5 months of the year, we were in an extreme drought. And we didn't get any rain until June, and it was short-lived. So, I'll go to the next one. As you can see here, this is from January 27th to May 19th. I pulled those dates because we had snow just prior to January 27th, but it wasn't a lot. It was only just a few inches of snow. An inch of snow is basically 1/10 of an inch of rain. So we've been in a drought much longer than this, especially for it to be an extreme drought. All right, so our current drought, oh, too far. There you go. Current drought, this was as of Tuesday, I believe it was, that this was released from the drought monitor and released on yesterday. We're in between a moderate and severe drought still. So we've still having those issues. All right, low lake level equals low water table. So Lake Lanier is down nearly 6 feet from full pool. Now that fluctuates from day to day as they let water loose for generating power. But it's around 6 feet. Well, that means our water table is down at least 6 feet. And it does. It truly affects our aquifer and the water table and how much water we can pull out of the ground. And if you've ever been on a well and you've been in a drought, you know your well will go dry eventually. Fortunately, our wells are not dry. So let's make that clear. All right, so in a city system, we typically go to get our water, put it in a distribution system. I have something up here that I'll show you in a minute how it works. But the big thing is having storage tanks. And you want to have excess storage, not just for potable water, but for fire service. You want that available. And we have two. We have two. We have a county line tank, which is here. See, it's over 111 feet tall. It's 14 inches in diameter, or 14 feet in diameter, sorry about that, and 128,000 gallons. That's what that tank holds. The next tank is the Chattahoochee tank. Everybody's definitely familiar with this one because it's over by the school. And it's 113 feet tall, 83 feet to the bottom of the bowl, and it holds 300,000 gallons. So when our tanks are full, we have 428,000 gallons available. We only use about 200,000 gallons a day. All right, so keep that in mind. We only use about half if the tanks are full. All right, and then you gotta consider too, we have a lot of pipes in the ground, and those pipes probably hold 200,000 gallons throughout the city. I want to show this picture of the Chattahoochee tank. You see the big red thing at the top, all right, that's our, shows our tank level. The F at the bottom is full, and you can see it's almost empty. That one's almost empty. So empty that it doesn't register on our SCADA. Now we have water, obviously, in the blue tank. I just got an update. Today has been a very good day, a very good day. I just got an update on the tank level just a few minutes ago, and it's at 46.7 feet. That's a good day for this past about 10 days, 8 days. So it's stayed pretty close to 50 feet all day, and that's wonderful. The first day I've actually had a little bit of a sigh of relief because we did get down to 18 feet last weekend. And I was afraid we was going to lose the system. So, and I'll explain that. So this is what a typical well water distribution system looks like. Now, I have Lula's water system on here, but it's very similar to this. So as you can see, still it's mine. We have a well right here, and the aquifer pumps it up through our pumps. We distribute it. One thing we don't do, but that a lot of companies or cities and counties do is they'll pump it directly into the tank. We don't do that. We pump it directly into the system. Once the system is full, the whole distribution system is full, and then it backs up into the tank and is ready to come out on the elevated tank down this stem and comes back into the system as demand increases. And then you can see how it works going through. Now, in our situation last Sunday, the whole city didn't lose pressure. Let me make that clear, and I'll go more in detail about that. But it would be like these three houses, but those houses didn't lose it. They didn't lose any pressure. They stayed constant. So I'll go into more detail with that. But I just want to give you an idea of how the water system looks, because a lot of people, all they see is the tank. They don't see what's underground and how it flows through the system. But ours is very similar to this, very, very similar to this. So on Friday, July 3rd, city was closed because it's a holiday, you know, we recognize 4th of July on Friday since it was on Saturday. We've been noticing some serious tank fluctuations all week. So Hoyt went ahead and turned on the interconnect because he knew it was a holiday weekend. People would be at home, you know, playing, cooking, filling their pools, you know, having a good time. And that's what you're supposed to do as an American on Independence Day, is have a good time. So that's why he went ahead and turned it on Friday. It was late afternoon when he turned it on. Saturday late afternoon is when I got the call that we had lost all the way down to 28 feet in our blue tank. And of course the standpipe tank or the elevated tank wasn't registering. So I immediately called Zach Brackett with Hall County EMA. I called GEMA, and then I called Georgia Rural Water, all within 30 minutes of each other, and had conversations with all of them. And I explained to them, with it being a holiday weekend, there's a real risk that we could lose our system. Fortunately, we didn't. And I want to thank a couple of employees that took their time Saturday evening in the dark, walking some of our more remote transmission lines and water mains through the night. They probably walked a couple of 3 hours, making sure we did not have a break because the water dropped really, really fast Saturday afternoon. So I really want to thank them for doing that. And it was a holiday weekend. They could have been with their family, but I asked them if they would do it, and they did it, and I appreciate that. All right, the boil water advisory was issued Sunday afternoon after I started getting reports about some residences in the city, their homes were down to a trickle. First report was on Talent Drive. It was just a trickle. And then I got reports as I was getting this together, and the initial boil water advisory was for Talent Drive and Talent Drive only. But then we lost part of Railroad Avenue, and we lost parts of Chattahoochee Street. And it all has to do with elevation. That's the big thing. We're not in Kansas. It's not flat, so it's hilly. So some areas did lose a little bit of pressure. Most areas, from my understanding, did not. If you maintain pressure, the boil water advisory really didn't affect you. However, out of an abundance of caution and fear that we may lose the system, I put it for the whole city, because we'd already lost 3 streets, or had reports on 3 different streets that we were down to a trickle. So we did it for the whole city. But if you maintain pressure, your water's safe. Now, what's the big deal here? When you lose pressure, a lot of times you get little air pockets, and that can cause, not always, but can cause some bacteria growth, some. But as long as there's pressure and our water is chlorinated, you're safe. Those that did lose pressure, now you're the ones that need to probably boil water. But the water, I talked to Georgia Rural Water yesterday. He said, Jerry, I have no problem getting a glass of water out of your sink. He said, this water's still good. He said, there's nothing wrong. He said, but you did the right thing. All right, so it was posted on Facebook. I went to Access North Georgia's website and saw their news desk and sent them an email and told them, hey, we're under boil water advisory. Get the update from Lula City Hall Facebook page, and you'll get all your information, and here's my phone number. And that went through their website at their news desk, and I forget what it was, but it was on their website. That's what I clicked on. I did get contacted from Access North Georgia on Tuesday. And talked to him and explained to him, hey, this needed to be done a couple of days ago. And I explained what I did, and he's like, oh, that email doesn't work. Okay, good to know. So he gave me a new email, so now that is improved already. All right, and then we contacted while I was contacting trying to contact Access North Georgia, our water guy called Jamie Lewis with the EPD to let him know what was going on. Also, Georgia Rural Water contacted EPD as well, informing them of our situation. So now, again, what happened? All right, here's what happened. Demand increased significantly in the month of June. I mean, significantly. With the current customers we have on the system, which is about 1,400, it increased by 33,000 gallons on average a day. And that occurred every day, the whole month of June. All right. The pumps kicked on and was pumping water, but they would kick off and stay off for a longer period of time because letting the water table recover, so it pumped water again. And it would run a good while, but it would still cut off and be off for a while. And a couple of the wells did that quite a bit. All right, there's been some discussion that there's growth. The growth did this. No, it did not. Because in the last 5 years, we've only had a handful of new homes and new businesses come in that require water. So in the last 2 years, we've only had 4 homes come online. None of Moss Farms has gotten a single permit, not a one. So that subdivision hasn't started. The one over on Belton Ridge, which is Cedar Ridge, they're still having to deal with sediment erosion control. They're still 6 to 9 months out before they're ready to even start pulling permits for housing. So it has nothing to do with growth. That's not it. So, and we don't have any data centers around or anything like that, so we're good. So we'll show you the historical water consumption. So again, over the last 5 years, 6 years, I pulled 6 years. So if you start in 2021, we used, for the month of June in 2021, 4.6 million gallons. You look at 2026, we use 5.9 million gallons. That's what we pumped out of the ground. All right. And if you look last year at June, that's 1 million gallons more than we pumped year to year. So demand gone up, and that's what hit us with the drought, and then with the water table being low. It was a perfect storm. It was just a perfect storm. And a lot of folks talk about the developers. We cut them off over a month ago and made them pull water for sowing grass and different things from a Gainesville fire hydrant. So they've been pulling water from Gainesville for their water needs. So our plan is, for the short term, I have contacted a contractor to pump water, and I'll explain why, pump water from the Gainesville system into the Lula system. This is going to take place over the weekend, and we should start pumping water Monday. We got some logistics we got to work out with Gainesville to make sure everything is in place, but we should start pumping water into our system Monday. Well, Jerry, you got an interconnect. Why do you need this? Our system is independent, Gainesville's is independent. We have pressure on our pipes at the hydrant we're going to connect to at about 52 to 55 PSI. Their system, when it's operating correctly, is at about 50 to 55 PSI. Well, all we're doing is this. There's no water moving. It's staying right there. The only time water from Gainesville comes into our system is when our pressure drops below their pressure. So we got to fix that. That's what this pump is for, is to boost their pressure up just enough to overcome our pressure so we can start backfilling the system and get our standpipe and our elevated tank full. Georgia Roll Water was here yesterday, and we discussed this, and this is the plan that we came up with for the immediate future. So we were hoping to be able to do it tomorrow, but again, there's some logistical things we got to work out with Gainesville and with the pump company to get everything in place. We've already started the discussion to increase the interconnect, the size of the interconnect. We increased the size of our interconnect from a 2-inch to the size of our main. Last I was told, it was a 6-inch, but it may be a 4. Doesn't matter. We're going to increase the size. That way we can get more volume from Gainesville. And that interconnect will also include a booster pump station. So that way we can pull water and it not wait for our system to get so low. And as far as that interconnect goes, the only time we really get any water is when our tank gets below 40 feet. And that's when the pressure drops enough that Gainesville can push through. And going along with the interconnect, when we were talking to them yesterday, on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of July, we pulled the vast majority of 50,000 gallons of water into our system. So they actually saved our system from going dry. So I'm very thankful that we had that. Even though it's small and it didn't fill our tanks, it kept our system alive. So I'm very thankful for that. Moss Farm, their well should be coming on. I got on here within the month. They're trying to get it on within 2 weeks. And that well pumps about 138,000 gallons, or 138 gallons a minute. And there's no houses over there. So that's all surplus water coming to us until they start building. So we'll be in good shape once it's online. But we need to put the interconnect and get that well online as quick as possible, and all that should happen within the month. Long term, we've already had these discussions, and we're trying to get our sites picked out. We have one site we think we can work with on the Banks County side, and that's to install 2 new wells. And we're hoping to have one on the Banks County side and find another site in Hall County to put it on this side. That way we have additional water. And then once we get those online, we'll be looking again for at least 1 or 2 more. But we want to get 2 right away, and we're going to try to have those within the year. Construct another elevated tank for reserve storage. Hope to have that done within the next 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years is a long time. Getting an elevated tank built is no easy task. You got to find a contractor to do it. You got to get EPD involved, and an elevated tank at minimum, in best case situation, cash in hand, is 2 to 2.5 years at best. If you got to wait for funding, if you got to wait on a contractor because he's on another job, it will take up to 5 years. But if everything goes right, I think we could do it in 3. We just got to see if EPD will work with us, and I'm pretty sure they will. And then one last thing I want to bring up, we're going to research and implement a new notification system, and we'll have that in place within the year. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people won't blame the city on this. The last notification system we had 50 people signed up. 50 people. Right? It's incumbent upon the citizens and our water customers to sign up with an active current phone number and an active current email. If you don't give us that, you can't get a notification. And I was told, oh, you should have done reverse 911. Well, what good would that have done? There's renters here, and they're owned by, investment groups that are in California. The California people would have got the notification, not the people that live here. So it would have been very hit and miss on doing a reverse 911. So we did the best we could. I explained it to Georgia Rural Water. They agreed that we've tried to do the best we can in the situation. And once we get the water flowing, one thing that we are going to do, we did it yesterday and we're going to do it again Tuesday, is Georgia Rural Water brought a lot of technological stuff with them. I didn't see it. I hope you did, Mayor, where they test the lines and the valves and the hydrants to see if there's a leak somewhere. They can do it. I'm not there. I don't know how they do it, but they can do it. And they went throughout the city checking to see if there was a leak that we may have missed, and they didn't find a leak. We're hoping once we get our system back to full pressure and our tanks full, that we can move forward with this again and see if there's something we missed. Because, if you've got low pressure and your pipes are like this, when you get high pressure, they may separate. And that's when you'll find the leak. So that's what we're working with now with Georgia Rural Water. And they're hoping to be back here. They were hoping to come back Monday, but with the logistical stuff we got to work out with Gainesville and the pump company, it'll probably be Tuesday morning before they come back. So with that, Mayor, I'll turn it over to you.
And just a few things I want to add. Jerry did a great job on that as far as all the information that he's been gathering this week. We have been doing a lot of things behind the scenes. I know people don't like to hear that because everybody wants to know right then and there what's going on. I get it. I'm just like you. I want to know what's going on too. Unfortunately, some things just cannot be brought out until we have clarification, until we know exactly what we're doing. And if you know anything about me, which some of you do, I'm the type of person, I want my ducks in a row before we do something. We're going to plan it out. We're going to make sure that what we're doing is going to work. All right? We could throw Band-Aids on things which have been done. We have certain areas that we've looked at that unfortunately things weren't done previous years that should have been done. Hindsight's 20/20. Okay? Moving forward, and that's what we're doing, is moving forward. We're going to work on this infrastructure. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be a quick fix. One thing that all of us can do, doesn't matter who it is conserve. We're all paying customers. We all love it when we just go to the water tap, turn it on, and water flows. We love that. We love it when we turn our light switch on, the lights come on. Unfortunately, when those things don't work, that's when we worry about it. Up till that point, nobody worries about your water, nobody worries about your electricity until it's gone. That's the day and age we live in. Your phone's the same way. When your phone dies, how many in here, be honest, your phone dies, you start having anxiety. What am I going to do? What game am I going to play? I can't do anything. What do I do now? But that's just the world we live in now. So, we are going to be better. I promise you that. We're going to move forward. We're going to get this fixed. We're going to make sure that you don't have to worry about this anymore. It's been a long time since we had to worry about water issues in Lula. Yes, there are water main breaks that we have to worry about. That's going to come no matter what system you have, no matter what infrastructure you have. As things age out, we try to change them out. We're in the process of changing out water meters right now. That has nothing to do with water loss per se, but with the meters being changed out, going to an electronic form, some of you may have seen that at your homes already. When we change those out, that actually speeds things up. We're able to read meters a lot quicker. We're able to see if things are going wrong with a house that you may not even know you have a problem with. Especially if all of a sudden you get a water bill at the end of the month and you're like, why is my water so high? You may have a leak that you didn't know about. When we read it, we can tell right away. All of a sudden, hey, Garnett's house all of a sudden just used 10,000 gallons more. There's 2 people in that house. How did they use that much water? Unless he filled his pool back up again. Okay? There's things like that we can see. So when we're going around town, we can actually see what's going on. I know it's not what everybody wanted to hear. It's not a quick fix. Trust me, I wish it was. I wish we could snap our fingers and say, hey, let's move forward. Everything's fixed. With the council's help, we're going to be discussing the new pumps that we need, new wells that we need, getting those put in place, getting the funding for it, getting it taken care of, and moving forward. I am not one to sit back and wait. Let me make that perfectly clear. And I know there's several, one sitting in that back row, that'll tell you that. I have a very hard time with patience. I want things done. I want them done now. Red tape, nobody likes red tape, okay? And I will cut through every little bit that I possibly can and push people. Jerry hates it when I have time on my hands because I usually call him at 5 o'clock when he's ready to leave the office. Hey, I got an idea. Hey, can we do this? I wish it was earlier in the day, Jerry, but it's not, sorry. It takes me all day to come up with these things. But I do try to push through things, okay? And moving forward, that's what we're gonna do. I will ask them Monday night at the work session, as we have our discussions, to go ahead and approve what we need to get these wells up and going, to get the wells refurbished that need to be taken care of, to get the lines done that we need to do. So that is forthcoming. But just bear in mind, nothing happens overnight. We've done a great job this week of recovering. With a little bit more water, yeah, it's coming. We get some more storms coming through, we get some more water coming down. One good news with the super El Nino they're talking about, it's gonna be wetter than normal this winter. Everybody will be complaining we had too much water. So, but it is coming, okay? We apologize for the communication issues. Again, we'll do better. We will do better, I promise you that. We've got several different systems we're looking at. We had some great contacts while we're down at the convention, and those just happen to play right in. I think God knows when you need that, and He sends them your way. And emails were flowing this week without even asking. So We are working on those, getting the presenters to come in so we can see what best fits the city's needs, not only for the needs, but also financially, so that we can be reserved in doing that as well. So, with that, we'll take some questions. If you have a question, raise your hand and I'll have somebody come out with a mic.
Hi, I just kind of want to know, because I've never experienced, wherever we've lived, this situation. What is this going to ultimately cost us as the residents? Is this going to increase our costs of what water costs? And is there going to be extra fees added in that are going to be kind of not seen?
So as of right now, and I think Jerry can help me on this question as well, fortunately, we're in a situation where we got funds that we can use to take care of this situation. We've got splosh funds we can use, and if we have to dip into our general, we can do that as well. The last thing I want to do is increase any fees for anybody. We already have fees out the wazoo. I've been a huge deterrent for that. I believe, and Jerry believes the same thing, that we can fix these things without any cost incurring to the residents. That's our main goal. Obviously, down the road, with the cost of doing business, yes, we do see an impact fee going up somewhere down the road, but it won't be because of this. It'll be just normal inflation coming through as it normally would. We are in a unique system in Lula compared to a lot of the neighboring counties and stuff, where we work off the well system. We don't draw off the lake. Okay, what we're drawing off Gainesville may be lake water, but we're unique in that we're self-sufficient with our wells. We don't have the issues that a lot of Banks County, Baldwin, neighboring cities around us have because of the well situation that we have. Any of the new subdivisions that come in, one of the stipulations when they come in, they have to drill a well, has to produce enough water that is going to cover, if not surplus, the homes that they build in that subdivision. Any surplus of water from those wells goes back into the city supply. Doesn't cost the city a dime. Those wells being drilled are paid for by the developer when they come in. So that's good news, all right? 2 wells that we're looking at, one is actually a well that was online, that was shut down because of sediment issues. We're gonna look at refurbishing that well, getting that back online, and then look for a new well site as well for a backup. Did that? Okay.
You talked about the 2 wells that are being built or have been built to supply the new subdivisions. My question is, what I'm wanting to know, is it drawing from the same vein that Lula uses, and does that add to decreasing the water table also?
Jerry?
I can't answer that. I'm not a geologist, so.
Yeah, we wouldn't know what aquifer they were pulling from, but we can't tell you the well that's coming off Moss Farm is lower than the well that's over at Oconee or at Victoria Lane. So the chances of them pulling off the same aquifer, I wouldn't even dare say whether they were or not. You've got a water table underneath the ground that, if there's any geologists, they would know better.
Thank you.
Gary, did you have a question?
We got one right here.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Hi. I know we talked about an old alert system that wasn't really used that well. Do we still have access to that alert system? Or is it no longer in use?
No, that's no longer in use.
Okay, thank you.
That was costing the city money that honestly wasn't being used in a good way. And it was a system where everybody had to sign up for it. If you didn't sign up for it, then it did no good in order to notify. One thing I will say, the ladies at City Hall, when you go in or when you call, they are trying to collect that information. So don't think that they're trying to do it for spam calls. That's not what we're doing. They are trying to collect the information to get a good phone number, a good email, so that we can put that out. And I do believe we are going to put something on the back of the water bill requesting that information as well. With the new water bill system, always look on the back for the memos. We got a lot more space. We can put a lot more information on, which is great. And we get a lot of stuff out to you quicker. So. Carrie?
I'm not sure if my question is very similar to hers, but it's, I feel like, I'm not sure if I'm understanding it right, but like, Hall County we haven't built a lot here yet, but Hall County, New Holland is blown up. And you were talking about Lake Lanier, so I'm wondering if somehow all that subdivision draws on us or affects us
It
as
does
well.
because the lake levels
Yeah.
feed into the aquifer.
That's
So
what I'm
as the
thinking, is
lake,
even though they're building, we're paying for all those things up there.
well, in essence, yes, because as they draw from the lake, as everybody does, all the way down, even south of us, you know, because we gotta make sure the people in Florida, the mussels down there have their water.
Them too.
Sorry, I had to throw that in. But unfortunately, you know, the way the water tables work that way, but also understand one thing about Lula. We sit on two different water level tables, okay? There's like a divide right here at the railroad. So all the water that's on that side flows to the Chattahoochee. All the water on this side flows to the Broad River Basin. So we're more apt to find better water on this side of the tracks than we are on that side. Yes, you've been happy to answer on this side with us. So those of you who live on this side, great. No,
You
just,
said we're on the wrong side of the tracks.
I did not. But if you're on this side, okay. But the way the water works, from my understanding, and trust me, I am no geologist, I'm no scientist, science was not my forte unless it was blowing things up, okay? Then I was very interested. But the way the water works, anything, and you think about it with the tracks, anything that falls underground is going that way, Broad River Basin, okay? Broad River Basin has got a lot of water. Anything on that side is going Chattahoochee. Chattahoochee is gonna rely on not only runoff, but most of the runoff coming out of the mountains. So if they're having dry spells up there, that's gonna affect the water down here. Fortunately, a lot of the storms lately have been falling that way until you get across the mountain range and that falls to another basin. There are maps out there you can actually look at. It'll show you where the water flow basins are and where you draw. So we're more adapt to pulling from this side because our water resource is gonna be a lot better on this side than it is on that side.
So then my logic, if I'm getting it right, that the data center, when it does open, is gonna affect us too then in Maysville, because, right?
What data center?
The data center in Maysville, right by the elementary school that they're building?
Oh. No, it won't affect us.
It won't affect us at all. That's supposed to be a self-sustained system from what I understood, but they're pulling off their water.
Okay.
They won't be pulling off our system. The aquifers, yes. Unfortunately, I mean, you can't stop what's under the ground that way.
Yeah, okay. Better understanding, thank you.
So I have a couple of concerns and then I'll get into my questions. One of the concerns I have, there are only 2 council members in attendance. You'd think this would be a little bit more important to the other council members. If there's any more than 2, please let me know, but I only see, oh, there's 3, okay, my apologies. I counted you, so 3 in attendance. I'm here. That's the 3rd. So that's concerning as well. The other concern I have is the lack of adequate public notice. Section 2.1 of the Boil Water Advisory Manual from the DPD gives us the adequate responses in depth. The city website has no mention of either the town hall meeting or the Boil Water Advisory. Why is that? It's a very simple solution, very common thing that everybody has is a website. But for years, it's been under construction. I know. This is not the first time the Boil Water Advisory has been in effect. There was a main break on Maiden. No communication was given. And yet the city manager sat out there for most of that repair. Still had to find out from people that lived in Gainesville. My questions now are, why were there no proactive conservation measures? You showed extreme drought conditions several times earlier in the year, so why no proactive communication on conservation? I'll let you answer that one before I get to the next.
Because at the time, our water tables were fine, because everything that we had in our tanks was fine and it was running at normal levels. There was no concern for any conservation, not only here, but statewide. There was a statewide watering ban that went into effect that was lifted.
Okay.
So we were not under any type of ban at that time for conservation.
You mentioned in there that employees came in to walk mains. Why couldn't employees have come in and put door hangers for the Boil Water Advisory like the manual state to the proper form of communication?
because the employees don't have access to City Hall to post that stuff, and it's not their job.
It's not their job.
It's not their job to post that, no, it's not.
It's not the interim city manager's job.
He did his
to ensure
job.
Communication.
He did his job, sir. He did his
By posting
posting
it on
as
Facebook?
he needed to do. He did his posting, and he did it in the guidelines that are set forth. He did nothing
Now, what
wrong.
guidelines are you going on?
EPD guidelines. He
EPD.
notified people as he was supposed to.
On section 2.1, is that the one you're referring to?
Jerry, is that what you went by?
He's pointing out what you could and should do. It is not a mandate. So I want to make that clear. It is not a mandate. You make every attempt possible that you can to notify the public. As to the website is fixing to go down because the software is now outdated. We're trying to do a migration as we speak. So that's one reason why that didn't get on the website. How many people here go to the website at all, ever? How many go on Facebook more than once a day?
So we have over half the room goes on Facebook. We had 4 people go on the website.
And I heard it on the radio, over and over.
And there you go, heard it on the radio.
How many people were notified by their neighbor that we had an issue?
Oh,
Now, let me address that real quick. We live in a day and age where a lot of people still do not have internet access, do not do Facebook. More and more people are getting to where they don't do Facebook. And everybody said you shoulda, coulda, woulda done stuff. Yes, I told you that. We failed in our communication. We could have done better. We will do better. We're looking at getting electronic boards that we can place at the gateway parts of the city. Mainly going to be Old Canadian Highway down at this end and at the north end, that we can put messages on when something like this happens. Again, that takes money. That's something we're going to look into for a short-time rental if we have to, but also for long-time purchase. When we put those messages up, plus the LED board that we have out here, people tend to drive by. Yes, now, let's address the people that don't go out. Because there are people that don't get out of their home, right? How many people were notified by their neighbor because they don't leave their home a lot? Quite a few. We had several come into City Hall, said, well, you didn't notify me. Well, apparently you knew if you came here to tell us that, okay? I'm not gonna get into all the arguing and stuff that goes along with not being notified. Everybody can say I wasn't notified. Everybody can say I didn't hear about it, or I heard about it from him, I heard about it from her. That's fine. We will do better. Mark my words on that. There's a lot of times things happen in this city I don't even know about. I'm the mayor. How many times have I called you, Jerry, that I heard something that I didn't hear like I should have? It happens. Every one of us has come across that. All right? We don't live in a world where you are the center of the universe and everybody contacts you personally for every little thing that happens. I know that may sound harsh. Get used to it. I'm very blunt. Okay? I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be facetious about anything, but that's the way it is. And I'm just telling you, that's reality. We don't expect everybody to be on Facebook. We don't expect everybody to be on the website. We talked about putting little signs out, little, I guess you call them campaign signs. Boil water advisory. That's another action that we're gonna take into effect. We can have those signs made up and be done in a day. Did it help us in this last situation? No. This situation was the perfect storm. You got drought conditions, you got high volume usage over the month, more than normal, as you saw on the chart. We're 1 million gallons more a month than we were last year at this time. That's a lot of water. That's the equivalent of filling, how many Olympic-sized pools, Jerry, we say? 25, I think it was, 25 Olympic-sized pools. That's a lot of water usage. And that's not just from the citizens, that's everywhere. It could have been through main breaks, it could have been whatever. We did the precautionary boil of water because of the low pressure and because of the air, as Jerry said, the bacteria could form. Most of the time, you're not gonna get that with a low pressure. You're gonna get that with a water main break because contaminants can enter the line at that point in time. That's why you do a boil water advisory then. It did not affect more than what we figured, right around 100 to 125 customers is what this affected. If you were one of them, apologize for that. All right, we can't foresee every single thing that happens. We did not foresee the water table dropping. We did not see the water in the tanks dropping as it did. Yes, there were concerns. Does that mean you raise the red flag every single time? Maybe it does draw us to do that, but maybe not. You do it too many times, and now you're starting to cost the city more money than it really needs to be costed. Then we go to her question at the beginning, where do those fees come back? We pass those fees back in because we wasted all that money that we didn't need to waste. We try to be as good stewards as we possibly can with the money that's left in our control and use it as wisely as possible. All right? The communication systems are going to take time. Like I said, it's not an overnight fix. The short-term fix is going to be the communication signs that we're going to use, whether it be the small ones like the campaign signs or the electronic ones, which Jerry and I have been looking at, to bring into the city to have, and those can be used at other things as well. We can use those for events, for parking, for any other notification that we may need to use right now. But a lot of it's going to come down to the citizens, to you. Do we have a good phone number? Do we have a good email? Do we have a good way to contact you? You may come in and say, well, you know, I don't do text and I don't do email. All right, what's a good way to contact you? Can we call you on the phone? We don't know unless you tell us. I deal with this all the time with people. If you don't tell us, we don't know. I've never met anybody that could read a mind yet except my wife. Okay? And Jerry claims I can read his sometimes, but that's about it. We have to have as much help as we can possibly get from you, but I understand you want our help as well, and that's what we're here for. We'll answer your questions. We'll do whatever we can to help you, but understand we need the help too. We're just as human. We're just like you are.
How sustainable are the backup measures from the surrounding counties, and which counties are we tied in with?
Jerry?
We're tied in with no other counties. We're only tied in to the city of Gainesville. And it's through an interconnect that we control. We turn on and off. We don't sell water to anybody. We don't push water to anybody. It's Lula's system, and it is only Lula's system. So the only time there's any water being transferred, it's from Gainesville to us, not us to Gainesville. It's a one-way valve. Now, I do want to address one other thing, and I appreciate you mentioning about the employees going out and looking for the water mains. How many here would prefer that the employees be looking for a water leak to save our system, or would you prefer them to print up door hangers and forget the leak, just come out and put door hangers up? I think you would want the leak fixed. That would be the priority, and that's the way I viewed it, is let's find the leak, let's get it fixed, and let's move on. We'll get the rest of it fixed later, especially at 10 o'clock at night. So, and I assure you, you can take this one to the bank. If you own a water system, two things are going to happen. You will have a leak, and you will issue boil water advisories. There is not a city in this state that has not done that. There's not a water authority in this state that's not done that. And there's not a county in this state that's not done that. If you own a water system, you will have a leak, you will issue boil water advisories. And anybody to say different, I will have a 4-letter word for you. Liar. Liar. Because every system has these problems. Every system has these issues. So, somebody say, oh, this water system was perfect. You must be in heaven, brother. That's all I can tell you. So, any other questions? Yeah. Oh, we got some in the back. Yeah.
My question is, at what point do businesses become a priority over people? Because on the way here, I saw the car wash running. So if we all have to conserve, why don't businesses have to conserve? We have a laundromat that runs 24 hours a day. I think that they should also have to conserve. They mean, when you're in that type of business, that's what the risk is take. So is there any thought on that?
So I can't speak on the car wash. That is a contained system. What that means is that's recycled water that they are using. Yes, they do introduce some fresh water in, but the majority of what they do, I think it's 80%, has to be recycled in the ground. In other words, anything that runs off goes through a filter system into a tank, and that's recycled back into their system. You ever notice how many times that car wash is broke down? How many times it doesn't work?
I don't use it. I
Well,
just
I
know
don't
it's
either.
being used when we're, you know,
But yes, they were aware of that. As far as cutting their water back, there was no need to cut any business's water back as far as usage goes. They weren't, their usage did not fluctuate at all. It didn't go up or down. It stayed the same. The restaurants, same thing. We checked with all the restaurants, they were fine. Nobody really lost any pressure as far as the restaurants went. The only place that even reported a slight difference, and they said that possibly was just them, was the grocery store. But it wasn't enough to even make a difference when we talked to them. So we went out and we talked to these businesses. As far as the laundromat goes, I really don't know how many people wash their clothes at night, especially in the middle of the night. We know what else goes on there, but as far as washing clothes there at night, you might get a few, I think more during the day, but you can't really put the cuffs on a business when this comes about.
so they're not asked to conserve.
They are asked to conserve just like we are. But think about this. Put yourself in their shoes. You own a business, you pay for the water, just like you are as a customer now, right? If I come to you and I said, all right, you can't use as much water to run your business, and you say, well, wait a second, I'm gonna lose business, I'm gonna lose money because of this.
Yes, but when you think about going into business like that, that's a thought and a risk you need to think about.
No, it's not.
It is in my eyes.
Well,
Anyways, okay, next point. The communication thing, why isn't protocol automatically to notify every resident by mail? And then if you have another way to notify them, say by text, take them off the list. Because you mentioned how many people in this room read about, well, that's the people in this room. What about the people not in this room? That's the point, that's the problem. And I know you addressed that, so I think there needs to be a better protocol on notifying people. Because I'm sure there's still people who aren't aware.
and again, that's a system we're working on moving forward. It's not an easy fix. Everybody thinks that notification
It's an
is
easy fix, you can
It
go.
is
you
not
can-
a notification.
You said you could.
It is
you
not
could
an
have
easy
signs
fix.
made up immediately, you can go and type up a letter today and put it in the mail tomorrow, that's a
And
pretty
it
easy
will not reach
fix,
you for
Bruce.
3 to 5 days
That's a pretty
because,
easy fix.
ma'am, we're not gonna argue about this.
Okay.
We know how the mail system works. We know the mail issues that we've had over the last year. When you, listen to me, please, let me finish. When you put something in the mail in Lula, do you honestly think that it does not move out of Lula? It leaves Lula, it will go to Gainesville. It may come back to Lula to get delivered. It may go to Atlanta before it comes back here. If you mail something, it could take 3 to 5 days to reach you. When we mail stuff from City Hall, it takes 3 to 5 days is what we plan on.
It's better than not reaching someone at all.
3 to 5 days is how far out we are from this water situation. If we had sent you a notification out, even if it went out Monday morning, you might have got it this morning. We notified you
Okay,
before
and there
that.
might still be people here today that don't know. That's the point. That's the point.
We're back up and
You're
running.
making excuses of not
No, I'm not
notifying
making
people when you could have
excuses.
simply mailed it.
No.
I'm done arguing too.
Now,
Thank you.
we will move forward with that.
Mine isn't really a question. I just want to kind of go over a couple of things because I don't know if people are aware of certain things. Like if there is a water leak on some things, I've had Tangi, used to be Miss Teresa, that would actually call while I'm sitting at my desk and saying, we see water that's being used more than it should be. The guys have been gracious. They will go to your house, cut your water off. I'm trying to run to the house to try to figure out what's going on. I think our system and how we do our communication, especially with the city hall, has been great when it comes to certain things. And it could be something where she's called and I said, oh no, I know we're running water because we are filling our pool. But it's that communication about having the phone numbers and everything, we've made sure that they had that. And that's my responsibility when I did my application. And anything that has changed, I've made sure this has been changed with City Hall so they actually have that information. So I think the communication piece also falls on us as citizens and as residents in this area to make sure that we are doing that in our part as well. So I just kind of want to say that piece and thank you all because y'all do a great job of that. And the guys have walked around with me whenever we ended up having, you know, a pipe that burst in the yard. And they want that, they do that things for us. So they do, I feel like, do their job and do it well. And thank you so much for bringing this to our attention as well.
Thank you for that. And with the new meters, as I said earlier, the new electronic meters will allow us to notify you sooner if there's a water usage issue at your home individually. They can go out, they can knock on your door. Unfortunately, we don't live in a world where we have 50 people that are standing by to go around and knock on doors for notification. Again, moving forward, which is what we're doing, we're not going to live in the past. We're not going to live in the past where we didn't get notified yesterday about something that happened tomorrow. Okay? Moving forward, we're going to do a better job. Whether it be the signs that we put on the side of the road to notify neighborhoods, whether it be electronic signs, whatever it may be. But again, we need as much help as you do to notify you. If we don't have a number for you, how do we know you didn't know? Think about that. We posted on Facebook. We don't know if you're not on Facebook looking. We don't know if you didn't go to the website and look. We have no idea. You can come and yell at us and scream at us and complain to us that I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't know. How do we know you didn't know? Think about that for a minute. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this world that we don't know about. Everybody in this room. All right? We don't know what goes on in Washington. We don't know what goes on at Hall County. We have a gentleman in here running for Hall County Commission. I guarantee he's doing that because he doesn't know what's going on down there or because he wants to know what's going on. Understand, not everything is as easy as it sounds. Yes, in a perfect world it would be. Communication is a wonderful thing. I talk about it all the time. Communicate, 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 because if you don't tell us, we don't know. And I feel you. You're the same as we are. If we don't tell you, you don't know. That's why we're having this town hall meeting. This is something I've been working on since before I ran to have these town hall meetings. We're going to look at doing them every quarter. Might be a different topic every quarter. I hope so. I hope we're not hashing out the same thing all the time. I don't like doing that. I don't think anybody else does either, but we will move forward. Trust me. Yes.
Yes, good afternoon. Hey, so my question is, once the water level get somewhat back to normal after the weekend, if our pressure in the household doesn't go back to normal, who do we call? Do we just call the water company to come out there and check it out, or what?
Jerry.
Yeah, if you have pressure issues, once this is all recovered, you definitely need to call City Hall and let us know so we can do a work order to come out and check to see if there's an issue. Because once all this gets back to normal, with it being a week and some areas being low pressure, we could have some breaks appear. So we'll need to know, and so be ready. There could be other boil water advisories as we have lines break due to this low pressure and then getting back to normal pressure. But we're hoping it's very minimal and it affects very few people.
As far as the boil water advisory, are we still under it?
Yes, we're still under it because we issued it. We were going to try to send samples off yesterday so we could try to lift it, but then we were told the lab wouldn't get it back to us till probably Tuesday. So we're going to wait till Monday to do it, and so we can get them back Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, and then we'll see where we stand to make sure that we're doing fine. But we'll have to take samples from several locations around the city.
the water advisory is on for everybody in the water system still? I mean, I.
Watering ban? Watering ban?
Advisory.
Is
I
the
mean,
advisory
the
still
boiling.
City. The boil water advisory for the whole city still?
Yes, it's still for the whole city until we can get it tested. We send it to a third-party lab that's independent of us and any other city, and they report to us at EPD.
We haven't had much of a pressure problem. So I
You
mean,
should be fine. You should be fine. If you haven't had a pressure issue, it just affected certain parts of the city, but we were afraid that we might lose the system, so we just did it out of an abundance of caution. I was right beside you.
Don't forget Dave. was there too.
She's just wondering what you want.
So for those houses that are the pressure, when do you expect it to be met?
Monday afternoon. Monday afternoon. So if you're experiencing low pressure right now, if it doesn't recover over the weekend, we hope to have it back to normal sometime Monday afternoon, Monday evening.
Yes, I do. Hi, my name is Elizabeth. This is a positive note for the City of Lula. My sister and I both had a leak in our residency. The City of Lula let my sister know on her door, but she didn't pay any attention. And then I called the city and found out that she did have a leak, okay? So they didn't notify my sister that she had a leak, because her water bill was jumped up there and she didn't pay any attention. But anyway, they didn't notify my sister. I had a water leak over there as well. And they came out and checked me, and you know, it really, anybody that's old as I am, that's lived in the city of Lula for all their lives, I know we need some communication, but this is just a minor thing, people. You know, let's try to do what the city asks us to do. Boil your water, you know? And, you know, you don't get them about complaining. Just try to work together, okay? Okay, young folks?
I may make you come up here, Dave.
First, I would like to say thank you to the city employees that were out looking for leaks. I know how important that is. My father-in-law has worked with a water system in the past, and I know how important that is. So thank you for doing that, but not only doing it, but on a holiday weekend. That's thankful. So we didn't lose our system. Second, thank you to Councilwoman Juliet for taking the notice and posting it on the Nextdoor app. She was trying to find other ways to get it to notify people. That's how I found out, was the Nextdoor app. Then she remained available to answer a text when I said, hey, is it over in this area as well? I've noticed a small drop in pressure. I didn't bother her after that because I'm sure other people were saying something, but I was thankful that she was available during that time to answer questions. I do have a question as far as on the water bill right now. I see that there is a fee for the meter replacement. When you are talking about replacing meters, is that already for the ones that have been replaced that we're seeing those fees for? Or was that for a previous meter and now we're going to a different one?
So, Jerry, you can answer that, but those fees were put in place several years ago to have the funds available to replace the aging meter. The meter is good for roughly 10 years or 1 million gallons. So a lot of our meters are aging out, and what happens on that is the gears that are in there, from what Jerry explained to me, and I'll let him explain more, when they get wore down, it doesn't read as it should, which is good for you, not so much for the city side. And I'm not saying we're doing it as a money grab, but it's one of those things where meters have a life expectancy. We try to get them changed out before they break or before there's an issue with them. And we're moving to those new ones. If you've got a new one that's got the little, I call it like a charging pad, looks like on top, That's how they can go by and scan. All right, that's it, $2.50, $2.25. That goes towards the meter replacement. Everybody pays that. That's on everybody's bill. You don't pay anything extra when a new meter gets put in. I'd like to say I had a part in that when I argued that years ago, but my wife says no, be quiet. So
I had a part in
Carmen had a part in it. So yeah, we all pay that, and that's just to keep up on the meter fees so that we can make sure we can replace them. Because if we had to go and charge each resident a one-time fee every time the meter had to be replaced, that's $300.
It's now, for the meter, $296.
$296 per meter. I don't think anybody in this room wants to see a $296 charge on their water bill. We would have mass amounts of people standing at City Hall trying to lynch us, is what would happen, because we charged them $300 for something they didn't ask for. So that's what that fee is for. It's spread out over the life of the meter is how they figure it.
Are you good?
No, I don't need that.
Alright.
I have a question. So we were losing, the volume was increased by 33,000 gallons a day through June. That's, you would take a bucket full of 1 million gallons over 30 days. What was done to compensate for that?
We just pumped more water. We tried anyway.
It didn't work, did it?
It didn't work. Because the water table kept dropping.
And also understand, it's summer vacation. Who's out of school? You got kids using the bathroom more, drinking more water, parents that are at home that are teachers. I mean, the school's not using as much, but.
It's never happened before.
Pardon?
I've been here 15 years and we've never had this happen before, so.
Our water operator said the same thing. This has never happened.
It was almost a perfect storm when it all happened at one time, so.
I do want to say this. Our urgency is beyond comprehension. We are very urgent on trying to get this interconnect fixed and get our wells upgraded where they need to be upgraded. School starts in a month, and the school has to have water. So that's why we're going to be pushing very hard to get this system back in line before school starts. That way the children don't have anything to worry about. And we don't have to worry about it as well. As the city, elected officials, staff, and for the parents, we don't want you to worry about it. So we want this resolved as fast as possible. So, Mayor, do you have anything else?
I have one more.
Okay, question.
I just one more. You mentioned 2 of the water tanks. What about the other 2? Are they low also?
There's not 2
I
others.
thought Lula has 4 tanks.
No, has 3. One of them has failed at the graveyard. That one has failed.
Okay.
That's why we're looking, and I meant to add more to this. I've been diligently working with our senators and congressmen to get funding to go ahead and get started on an elevated tank. I started that in January.
I think I remember y'all talking about that.
So we've been trying to get funding so we could go ahead and pull the trigger on a new elevated tank. It was discussed with the prior city manager that it'd be a $300,000, but with this event, I'm recommending to the city council it'd be a $500,000. That way, it will help with future growth, and it's coming. We can do a lot to remedy it, but we can't stop it. So growth will come. But fortunately, that's not what caused this. Got one in the back, and I'll be right with you.
All I was gonna say, Jerry, is that one that's over at the cemetery has been offline for years because it failed years ago. And then they haven't really been able to do anything. Current council has been working on that problem for, I know, 3 years. We've been trying to figure out how to fix this.
I was just gonna touch on the communication part. I know getting the systems in and looking at stuff that we gotta pay for is gonna take time. But for the immediate right now, I know we talked about with the pressure coming back up, that it would possibly be some more boil advisories coming over the next couple weeks, possibly, with the pressure coming back up. Would it be possible to do something as simple as a Google form that people would have to sign up for, capture their email, if you can put it into a spreadsheet, and then copy and paste all those emails and send that email? And that's totally free from Google. to do a Google form. You put the Google form link on the website, Facebook page, wherever. People just click that link, fill out the form. It captures all the information into one spot. Like I said, you can pull it out in the Excel form, copy and paste all those emails into an email, and send a mass email out, or you can BBC it so it ain't people replying to everybody, just for the immediate fix on communication. They will at least give something for people who might not be on Facebook or might not check the website, and that's totally free. All you gotta have is a Google account, just to follow.
Tangy?
You would need something like constant contact to do that, because the current email system that the city has, it will literally cause it to be flagged as spam.
Yeah. Google will do it.
I was gonna say Eric, you're hired to come in and do this for us, but I know
I've done it with our Men of Valor ministries with over 200, 300 people, and it's never.
I'm not a technical person, so I don't know what our system will do and won't do when it comes to that stuff.
I have a question. When we get water from Gainesville, did we pay for that?
Yes.
I saw it on there.
Yes.
But they're not paying.
You're not paying for it, the city is.
City's paying for it.
Well,
Right.
we're the city.
Well, but it's not on your bill. As far as your water goes, your water could be Gainesville, and I pull this out, it could be Baldwin, it could be White County, it could be Banks County. Water's water. What you use is what you use, what you pay for, okay? If we're getting extra water brought in, that's on the city.
Also, thank you for the printout. That was very helpful to know the stages. And just an idea, if this were to arise again for emergency purposes, could you not print out on a sheet of paper boil water advisory and then just stick it in there?
Unfortunately, no.
It's post office rules. You
Yeah.
can't put anything in the post office, in the mailbox, it's not run through the post office, that's illegal, they'll come.
Can't
out.
hang it on the door. Yeah, the only thing we could really do is hang it on the door. We couldn't hang it on the mailbox, or in the mailbox, or if it don't go through the post office, it's illegal, so. But one thing I was gonna look at also, and I haven't had an opportunity, is pre-printed door hangers. Get those. And when we have an opportunity, so I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put something out on Facebook, and once we get our website going, back up the way it should operate, it's going there first. And EPD is gonna be notified if it ever happens, any of these happens again. It's not if, it's when. We own a water system, it's just gonna happen. But we're gonna try to get it out as fast as we can. The door hangers will be the last thing, because we're gonna do the leak first. You know, I'm gonna do what can be fast and quick, and then we're gonna fix that leak or fix our system. Then we're gonna deal with the door hangers for the affected people. So I just think that's imperative and important that that's done first. Save the system, that way you save the people. So save the headache of having to boil water to make sweet tea. It's not good.
With the Gainesville water, does that go through our filtration system?
No.
Or is that just like?
Yeah. They're working on it. We talked to them the other day. They said they're working on it. Getting some new filters put on the lines. So, but yeah, they've been really good. I'm grateful for them that they've stepped up to help us, and they want to help us every way we can, or every way they can. I met with several of the guys out yesterday about the interconnect, about this new pump system that we're going to bring in for temporary purposes until we can get the new interconnect put in, get our wells upgraded, and fix the little things that we need fixed. Anybody else?
On the Cedar Creek subdivision, I talked to Jerry about this, and he said that you and him walked over there, you know, on that site. Cedar Creek subdivision got 50-foot wall of dirt. behind my house.
That has nothing to do with the water issues we're discussing right now.
I understand, but they are digging over there, very deep,
They're putting retention ponds in,
yes.
so.
But anyway, in the public, I'm asking, what are they doing about the 4-inch pipe they have in the ground? Because if it rains in the next month or two, it's gonna flood out that backyard.
Oh, one thing I did want to mention too.
Yeah, one back to.
I'll come right back to you. I'll come right back to you. Young lady mentioned about, who's paying for the water bill. Be thankful the city's paying the water bill, because we looked at the Maiden Lane leak, how much water we used from Gainesville, and I had Tangi and Amy, how much would this leak cost someone if it was on our system? That leak cost $197 if it had been on our system. Because we pulled Gainesville water to cover us from that leak, the bill was $450. Be thankful you live in Lula and are on Lula water.
I don't need my phone.
Okay, go ahead.
You mentioned earlier that the elevated tank was offline.
Okay. Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
The bowl is empty. Georgia Rural Water yesterday tested it. They got the math that I don't have. So they tested it there because there's a spigot right there at the tank. And there's about 70 feet of water in the stem. So it's trying to backfill into the system, but we just can't produce enough to get it into the bowl. So there is water in it, it's just in the stem.
Right.
So it's trying to backfill.
When we found out there was a low water advisory, me and my wife went to the tower, and it was 3/4 full. But within a little over 24-hour period, she told me when I was at work that it was at 0. How is that possible? That's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water. That is a lot of
So
water.
there's no leak?
And that's what got us scared.
Yeah.
No, we have not found a leak. Georgia Rural Waters went
I
all
was
over
thinking
town.
it was the water trucks for the Moss Farm.
No, they've been pulling water off of the hydrant from Gainesville. We made them go get a Gainesville hydrant meter, and we showed them the hydrant where to pull from. So we've had them cut off for over a month. We cut the valves off at Carter Street and going down Athens Street to Moss Farms. We've cut those valves off, and they haven't pulled any water from our hydrants. Now, that doesn't mean somebody doesn't slip off in one of these other subdivisions, go to the back and pull.
I read some stuff.
So, we don't know anything
True.
about it.
Who knows for sure?
So if that's the case, I'm gonna go back to the adage, if you see something, say something. So if you see somebody, and if you wait 3 days to say it, then don't say it. If you see it, say something right then. That way we can address it. We can get a deputy over there, and they can be arrested for theft of utilities. So if you see something, say something. Don't wait 3 days, because we'll never catch it. And we'll never be able to prove it. Unless you get tag numbers and photographs. Then we can go from there. So, and most everybody has a phone. So.
And as Jerry said, if you see something, say something. But please don't take this as, if you see your neighbor out watering his lawn, going over and yelling at him, that could start something more than just say something, see something, or somebody else will say that. But do ask them politely, hey, we're under a water ban right now, could you please conserve water? And then if they don't and they continue, please let us know, let us go deal with that. We have ways of making sure they don't do it, per se. If that means cutting water off, that means cutting water off, unfortunately, but that's something we don't want to do. We don't want to have to cut water off to anybody, any supply anywhere. There's businesses, there's people that rely on that. But we all have to be mindful of what we do use. Filling pools up, watering grass, yes, grass is going to be brown for a while. If you got new plants in the ground, I'm sorry, but I think people's drinking water takes precedence over your new plants. And I know people got gardens. Garnett's got one. He'd probably love to be able to water his. But unfortunately, at this point in time, we just need to do our best to conserve too. Could this have been done earlier? Yes. Are these foreseen issues? No. Were there signs? Possibly. All right, when we start seeing tank levels drop, when we start monitoring things, yes, those are signs, but those signs have been there before. And again, that goes back to what I said earlier. You can't always cry wolf on every little thing, okay? You have to be kind of proactive in what we do, and that's what we are trying to move forward doing going forward. Jerry and I are new to this. He's been here about a year, I've been here 6 months. Working together, we're gonna find the solutions that are gonna benefit everybody, all right? Because I'm part of that everybody group, all right? We live here in the city, we depend on that water system just like y'all do, and everybody in this room. So we're gonna work together to make sure we get this connected, get it done right. We're gonna make sure the communication's better. Mark my words on that, and if that means I go out and I buy the signs, I will buy the signs, it doesn't matter. We will make sure there's signs that we can put out for boil water, for whatever other reason right now, until we get a good system in place that will notify people. Now, mind you, it's not gonna notify 100% of the people. There's always gonna be the ones that, for whatever reason, we just don't get to. But watch out for your neighbors. If you got a neighbor that you know doesn't get out, doesn't do any of these things, let them know what's going on. All right, that's what we're all in this for. It takes everybody here. Any other questions? Comments, concerns, ideas? We love ideas, yes.
You did, refresh my memory, you did say you could put it out here on the depot sign. And what about putting your little A-frame at the corner of Athens? Is that an idea also? Like put bowl of water, because you put your meeting signs out there at Athens Street, at the corner, the little A-frame sign.
We could have an A-frame made, yes.
Yeah, y'all
That's
have
already,
signs.
that sign's made, but yes, we could
Yeah.
have one done for there.
Yeah, like this, we could put there, say bowl.
And that's where these if you all see the electronic signs, I know everybody here, when they see a sign that says merge because the lane's ending, everybody merges exactly then, right? That's what I thought. So I won't see any of y'all racing up that lane that's gonna end, never mind. But those are the signs we're looking at getting. Those message boards is what they are.
Yes.
And honestly, I told Jerry I'd rather look at purchasing them because we can use them for other events. As the city moves forward in what we want to do community-wise, they're going to be great assets to us. We can let you know what's going on at all ends of town. Because I'm sure there's people that don't come by this electronic sign every day.
No.
I guarantee it.
I thought that.
You live at the other end of town. How many times do you come in town?
Well.
Once or twice a week?
Well, no, more than that, because I'm
Well-
checking on my house over there.
But yeah, so I mean, there's people that may not even come through Main Street throughout the whole week. It might be the weekend. So these message boards that we put, and like I said, we want to start with two, one at the south end of town on Old Canadian Highway and one at the north end. That's going to help. We got this one that'll cover 51 going across here, and then we'll look at some other areas as well. But we are going to do better. Please understand, we are going to do better. Beat me up all you need to, all right? I need it. That's how it keeps me focused. It keeps me going, okay? But we will do better. And if you have ideas and suggestions, please, by all means, let us know, okay? We look forward to it. It takes everybody. We don't know everything, okay? Jerry doesn't know everything, even though I think he does sometimes. Tangy definitely doesn't. No, Tangy knows a lot more than we both do, so. Yes?
Was you going to ask? I just wanted to say, to Kurt, about 3 years ago, I had a leak at my house, and I didn't know it. It wasn't a bad leak, but Miss Teresa called me and said, you've got a leak somewhere because you're using a little bit more than you normally do over time. And it turns out that I had a commodity that I would have not known, and it would continue to cost me money, water going down the drain.
And that's where these new meters are coming in to help people, okay? Because with the new meters, we can tell that a lot quicker than month-to-month readings. Month-to-month reading still works, but it does take us a little bit longer for them to notice something. If we get a meter reading with the electronic form, that's gonna let us know immediately. So those are good things moving forward. Technology is a good thing sometimes. Again, thank you all for coming out. This was a great crowd, great questions. I hope that we answered some of your questions. If not all of them, I hope that we kind of shed some light on what's going on and how we got to this point and where we're going moving forward. All right? And again, that's my focus, is to move forward. Don't dwell on the past. They can't help us now. We can learn from it, and that's what we're doing now. So, with that being said, that's all we have. Thank you all.